Hello, on Facebook and YouTube, we are here. Where's Peter? Let me just find Peter for you. I can come off that mode and go to that one. There's Peter. You can't quite see him, can you? Give him a bit more head space. I think what it is, we set it up for Jojo, who's quite a lot shorter. Do you want to say something?
Yes, hello. My name is Peter.
That'll work.
Yep.
Can you say something again for the other side of my desk?
Oh, okay, yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff going on. Right, we'll be back in a moment. Actually, we can stay online. There you are. We'll stick online for you. We are just about to go live. Hello, welcome, and let us know what you're thankful for. That was Fleetwood Mac with Monday Morning, and good afternoon to you if you're just tuning in on the radio. And hello to you on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're thinking, I thought this was a radio show. Well, it is a radio show, but we're also on Facebook and YouTube on a Friday afternoon. If you're thinking, how do I do that? How do I get involved? It's really simple. All you have to do is take yourself to our website, Pure247Radio.org. Pure247Radio.org. I'm going to do that. www.pure247radio.org. We then go to the website. This is how you get on the YouTube and Facebook. Dead easy. Go to our website, scroll down right to the, not all the way bottom actually. No, it is the bottom, isn't it? And you'll find the links there for Facebook and also for YouTube. Now, YouTube, flawless. Facebook mostly works, is how I would put that. If you then head over to the YouTube channel, there's a big box at the top that says live. Click on that, it takes you to the live stream. If on Facebook you click on the button that says live at the top, it goes live. Is that simple enough? I hope so. There we have it. Right, Peter, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
We put a bit of a format in now, so we're not doing the new studies yet, aren't we? That comes a bit later.
Not quite yet.
So we're going to have a little bit of a chat. We'll do some things we're thankful for, keeping things nice and simple, and then you'll take us off on a tangent as we go into new studies a little bit later. So let's start with this one. How's your day going so far?
My day is going quite well, actually. It's a bit of a shock. The weather is slightly more overcast, which is actually quite nice. So kind of enjoying the weather today. A little bit busy today, but glad of a nice rest here on the Pure 247 Radio. Get your home show with and be having a rest, hot chocolate, and a bit of chit chat, as we like to say.
I'm just putting a couple of comments on our. There we go. Comments on our Facebook and YouTube. Now it's very simple. You join me. It's movie seat.
Okay, moving seat.
You join me for an hour or so, and we have a look. Now we've done this for a long time. We've done some food sampling. We've done all sorts. But the one thing that's stayed consistent, two things actually. One would be hot chocolates.
Yes.
I think even in the middle of last summer, we still had a hot chocolate, didn't we?
Yeah. Even though we were doing, it was hot, we carried on, soldiered on, having hot chocolates in the summer.
Because you can't have too much hot chocolate, I think, is simply the rule.
I agree with you there.
Yep, good.
A scientific fact.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And then the other thing is that we have always done new studies.
Yes, we have.
I think really from the beginning, it's just one of those things that we've just kind of done.
Yeah, in between tangents, we really enjoy new studies.
Yeah, you take us on a tangent, I bring us back, we have a hot chocolate, you tangent us, and then we'll do something else. So, Peter, shall we start with three things you're thankful for? I'm going to do one thing that Andy Godfrey is thankful for first. He got in touch with us on Facebook. Hello, Andy. Now, he said, I am thankful that every day is not like today.
Okay, is today not being a very good day then?
I imagine he's not having the best of days, if I'm honest. He's thankful that every day is not like today. That to me is a good thing, but not necessarily fully good. It's good that today is not like every other day, because every other day it sounds like he's not brilliant, but today he's getting there.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, hopefully, Andy, you'll be having a better moment now that we are here.
Yes.
Talking about all sorts of stuff. Now, Peter, let's do three things you're thankful for. I've done loads because this week has been a very busy week. However, I have been to Salford on Monday, Rotherham on Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday night was Bradford, staying with some friends. Thursday we were in Leeds for the day, and then back yesterday evening. And it was it's been a busy week, but I'm really thankful for the team here at Pure who've kept everything going. Dan Rouse, who covered my show yesterday, Good, man. And so it goes on. Lots of stuff has gone on this week. It's been a busy week, isn't it?
Yes, it has.
Have you got a highlight from the week? We'll come to the thanks, but have you got something you just like a highlight and think, oh, that was a good moment this week?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
I know it's a good question.
Oh.
That's my job. Have you got any?
I know a moment. I mean, it seems a bit sad, but it was a good moment. It's when I sorted the washing out and the basket was completely empty, and I was quite pleased with myself. It was on the line, being dried. I'd sorted the washing. I was really chuffed with myself.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. It's good to be chuffed with oneself, I
Yes.
think. Yeah, highlight for me, I think it has to be this. So yesterday I was in Leeds at the Leeds City Museum, which was a lovely building. The Lord Mayor, Councillor, and I've completely forgotten her name, she was there. She was great fun. A real hoot. Gave a really good speech. And there were loads of pupils from schools across, I think it's West Yorkshire, might even be further Yorkshire. Not quite sure how far afield they came from. But it was great to hear some of the projects. My highlight, though, has to be the fact the team that Paul Blakey from Rock Angels, Festival Angels, Street Angels put me in touch with. He put me in touch for an interview. We did an interview for them with the girls from Street Flow, which is their project, from a school in Halifax, and they won, which made me very, very happy.
That is good.
It was. I mean, I wasn't rooting for them above the others. I did judge fairly, actually. Here's the thing. So you score the different teams on all these different criteria, but they were only 1 point apart. So there were two groups, one of three, one of four. And when I scored them at the end, there were only 1 point separating each of the groups. So I was quite, quite fair. But the Street Flow girls, they were 1 point more. That's all. Not 30.
Wow.
Just one, and they won, which was brilliant. So they then get to go down to their London town, go to a big TV studio and have a tour and do more as well. So that's brilliant, well deserved. That was my highlight.
And that's your team in a sense.
Yeah, kind of. I can't say that I really helped them to get to the final, other than the fact that I interviewed them. But I think it was good. I think they did very well. I'd like to think that helped them prepare for the presentation in front of however many children and adults there were in the room. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that. It was a highlight.
Yeah, that's good. So that's your highlight for the week then?
I think it has to be my highlight. It has to be. I've never been a judge before. No one's ever asked me to be a judge. I think I'm fairly impartial.
You would judge that then? You
I would
that you're a
judge
good
that well.
judge?
Yes. I really enjoyed it. It was just good fun. It's so many different projects and stuff. I was chatting with a guy from West Yorkshire Police. He's a police officer there, and he was talking about some of the projects. Like, it's really good. They're understanding the importance of diet and nutrition on the ability to function in life. So many people don't get that. So he's taken one of the project ideas. He wants to expand that where he's working in West Yorkshire, because he just said this is so good. So they actually, one of the teams created a menu, because what they found, interesting stuff, what they found was in their school there are quite a few pupils who are secondary school age. So we're talking 10 to 16, 10 to 15, somewhere in that age range, and they're cooking for their whole entire families. They are the only one. The mum or the dad, if both parents are around, probably not, but there's only one parent. They're working several jobs. So the children are having to cook for, one of them, 5 siblings. That's 6 children. So they're doing the meals, not really much in the way of skills of how to cook or what to cook. Didn't really have much in the way of food in order to cook. So they've got in touch with the food bank. They provided food. They provided menus, and it's really good nutrition stuff. So that was just one. And there were other projects. I'm not going to say they were better or worse. That was one that I was just chatting about with a member of the West Yorkshire Police. He was like, this project, can I keep the menu? Because this is great. I want other schools to take this on. Because how much of a better difference can we see in society if the young people have got the right food and nutritionally they're happy, which means they're going to perform better. They're going to do better at school. They're going to get better grades. They're going to be happier, more content, and so on and so on. So it was a really good project, and I could go on, and I'm not going to.
Okay.
Otherwise, we could talk for the next hour about all the projects that were brilliant at Next Gen in Leeds. And thank you to Bex Wheatley and all the team for inviting us and caring for us with some very nice food.
Oh, nice one.
It's good food, and we had extras because we asked.
That is a good. If you ask, you often will receive. Actually, that's
yes. Well, I
it's-
said, can I have some more food, please? Because I'm really hungry. And there were spare bags because they over-ordered, which is good.
we like it when people overorder. That works out.
Yes, but you see, the alternative is they buy less food than they need, and then people get grumpy.
Well, there's a line in a particular film. I think it was Bruce Willis played a raccoon, and the raccoon was saying, "Enough food is never enough." Basically,
Over the Hedge.
yes.
Good
And
film.
I think that might be true, actually. Wise words from a cartoon raccoon.
A cartoon raccoon. Was he definitely a raccoon?
But yeah, pretty sure he was a raccoon. Like RJ Raccoon was, I think, was his name.
I can't remember the character. I can't remember what it looked like to think. Was it a raccoon?
Pretty sure it was a raccoon.
Okay, it's a raccoon. So, right now, let's do 3 things that we're thankful for. We'll keep it very simple as ever. We never ever complicate this. You just give your 3 things. I give my 3 things. We alternate between us. So when you said your 3 things, we're not actually quite 50%, although we are because we're at number 3 out of 6. Then I do my 3, and then we get to 6 eventually. So I have done the 6th one, which is actually my 3rd, and your 3rd has already been done to make 6. It's very simple.
Yes. Okay.
We oversimplify everything.
I'm not sure about that. Okay,
By the way, Dan Rouse said his prayers are with you to help you not make too many tangents.
Thank you, Dan. I don't think that's what he meant because
I'm sure that's what he really meant. I think it was a typo by Mr. Rouse.
he agrees, though. I'm pretty sure he
That
said
you go
so.
on tangents. Yes, he does agree.
No, he agrees that you go on tangents.
Only because
And-
you take me there.
No,
You wear me down until I can't be bothered to fight you anymore, and then we go off on a tangent.
no, I don't know if that's what Dan Rouse meant, but
I'm positive it is. Let's just move it straight away from there. Let's do your first thing you're thankful for.
Okie doke. So we're alternating thank yous. The thing that I'm thankful for today, actually, is doing this hot chocolate hour with you and me, because it's been a bit of a busier, stressful day. So it's nice to have a sort of planned in, relaxed moment. Or, I mean, fairly relaxed, because I'm trying to keep you off tangents.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's your first thank you.
Yes.
We'll do 6, but that's 3 each. So what is it? That's not even 20%, is it? That's like something percent. What's a 6th as a percent? If you take 5, that's 5 out of that would be 20%. So it's less than 20%. It's not
Yeah.
10% because that would be.
That would be... Oh, I'm getting confused. You know, we shouldn't do maths here on the Get Home Show.
It's
always-
dangerous.
it's dangerous.
100% divided by 6. So we've done 16.7%.
Approximately 15%. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
And then if we add 16.7, then we get to 33. That's 2. And then we can do one more. 4, 5, 6. And we have more than 100%.
Mm.
100.2%.
That is a... I think...
Maybe we should step away from the percentages. Because I think that's overly complicating everything.
I think people might be noticing we're not mathematicians.
No, not a mathematician. So let's do the 32nd percent answer from me, my first, our 32nd percent. Is it 32nd percent or 32%'s worth? I'm not sure how that works, but anyway, my very first, our second, my first thank you. So that'll be your first, my first 2, but I haven't done mine yet, so it's actually not 2, it's just the 1 so far. My first thing to be thankful for, the amazing projects yesterday at Next Gen. That's one of the things I'm thankful for. To see young people who are so passionate about helping not just their community, but wider and beyond them, not just geographically, but in time as well, because it'll serve others.
That is a good thing. So that is a good thing to be thankful.
It is.
for.
That's what I'm thankful for.
So that's
Does it count as more than one? Because there were 8 teams, 7 teams.
some.
Does that mean like 7 thank yous? Because I'm thanking
Well,
for that.
you're thankful collectively.
It's a collective one. Fine.
Collective one.
Okay, it's still 17%.
Percentages again.
Yeah, we like percentages.
Mm.
Not.
Yeah,
So our third thankful thing, which is your second, and I haven't done my 2, so therefore it's not yet 4. It's just 3. 1 from you, 1 from me, 1 from you. That's 3.
Okay, so
I
my
could be a roadie. I can count to 3.
also 6 as it turns out. So
Well, microphone people can only count to 2. 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. They can only get to 2, but roadies can get to 3.
well, I have heard
They're
them.
cleverer.
I have heard some very advanced microphone people able to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I've
No,
heard
that's
them.
nonsense. That's just crazy talk.
Okay, so my second thing then that I am thankful for, I would say I'm thankful that someone agrees with me on your taking us on tangents. I have a witness, as it were. That's what I'm thankful for.
I don't know quite where to go from there. So we've now done half.
Yes.
So how is that 64%? If it's 16% 3 times, that's 30,
No, that's 40, about 40,
38%. How is half 38% of 6?
16 were you saying?
Yeah, but then we've had 16 3 times.
So,
So that's 16, 32, 40, 46%.
Yeah.
How is 40%, 46% half?
that's That doesn't make much sense, does it?
No, there's 6 answers, right? And there's 2 of us. So when we get to 6, it's 100%. We've now done 3. That's half. But how is half 42%?
Well, there is one.
48%.
There is one flaw though, because it's not just 16; it's 16.666, a bunch of sixes,
Wow.
and there's 7. So technically, if you would add that up, each one, the exact calculation, you would end up with 100. Technically, we missed a move.
16.6
That's technically
plus 16.6 is 33.2. And then we had another 16.6. That's 49.8. Which I suppose if you round it up is 50%.
yeah, basically.
Percentages. It's never going to work. They're never going to take off this percentages thing.
You can't live with percentages, and you can't live without them, really.
No, not really. You've done your third.
Yes. No, second thing.
Oh, you're keeping track. Well done. So my second, our fourth.
Yeah.
Taking us past 50%.
Yeah.
Right.
You're on the
so-
right tracks.
What?
You're on the right tracks there.
Which tracks?
The...
Tangent. Right. So my second thing to be thankful for. Thankful for the lovely team at Lighthouse Homes and all the work they're doing with the men and women that they serve as part of their family, which is beautiful. Honestly, mind blown.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So that's your second thing. Now,
Yes.
yeah. So now it's my final thing.
My second, our fourth, and you're about to do your last one just after my halfway mark, because it's not technically my halfway mark, because the halfway mark is somewhere between you and me, going from your second to my first.
Well,
I
actually,
don't understand percentages.
technically, with 3, you can't.
I can't do my percentages.
Technically, with 3, you can't have half in a sense, because
Well, you could.
well, that would be 1.5.
If you took a cake and you sliced it into 2, you get 2 pieces. If you slice it into 3, you can't have 3 halves.
No. Well, the thing is, if you had like 3 cakes and you were to split that between 2 people, technically it would be impossible. But you'd have to cut one of the cakes in half, so it's 1.5 each.
But why would you want to cut a cake in half? Just eat the whole thing. Forget percentages. Just eat everything.
No, but if you want to be in even division, never mind. The third thing I'm thankful for might be that we don't do maths on the Get You Home show.
Well, we
I
just
don't know.
did, and now you can see why we don't do maths on the Get Your Home show.
Well, I'm thankful that we've been reminded of why we shouldn't do maths. I think it's actually bad for the brain, possibly, or at least bad for our brains.
Maths is bad for your brain.
Mm,
Yes, it's not the line they tend to go with in schools.
no.
No, just here's the Pythagoras theorem.
Yeah. I've noticed
I can't
though.
spell my Pythagoras.
I've noticed though, loads of fancy complex things, like you get to complex parts of the body. It's always really, really long words that are almost impossible to memorize. So only if your life is dedicated to being a doctor can you remember those words.
A very long time ago, when I was doing school, geography, GCSEs, I think it was, I was having to draw a map of Ireland, okay? So it includes Northern Ireland, it included Ireland, and then when we drew the map, we had to find out where the border was, and say, look, there's a border here, you've got Northern Ireland, and you've got Aire, E-I-R-E. So I said to my teacher, I don't understand, why is it called Northern Ireland but not Southern Ireland? And why is Southern Ireland only 4 letters long? And I can't fit Northern Ireland into the little tiny blob at the top. But Aire, it's 4 letters and there's a huge bit of land and I can easily fit it. Why can't we just switch the names around? In my naivety, at which point the teacher said, I think you need to learn just a bit more about politics, history. Yes, it's not Southern Ireland, it's Aire, E-I-R-E. I didn't know. I was just a bit confused. I thought it was just 2 halves of an island.
Well, I could understand the confusion. I think when I was much younger, I used to think that there wasn't a Northern Ireland. I thought there was Ireland and Great Britain were the same. They are very separated, apart from Northern Ireland.
Well, yeah, Ireland's part of EU, which we're not. And I just got very frustrated. But
Although
I'm trying to draw my little map, I'm trying to draw my little border in, I'm trying to write Northern Ireland, which doesn't fit within the landmass, and Aire, E-I-R-E, is a short, tiny little word, and there's a huge landmass to write the word in, and it got me really irritated. Can I not just flick them around and stick a little arrow on there? And I was told I couldn't do that.
yeah, I don't think that would be quite correct in a
Andy
professional
B,
map.
not an ambassador or diplomat anytime soon. I was younger, I didn't know, and you don't know what you don't know. I do know now.
That is a
But
good
I got
point.
confused. I just thought, well, they're both Ireland. If that's Northern Ireland and this is Ireland, why can't we call it Southern Ireland?
Well,
But I was told that politically that's not what we do, not what we say. So I was, I mean, I was 14, 15. I didn't know. I didn't know much back then about all sorts of things. Full of random stuff now, aren't we?
well, it seems almost unfair though sometimes because you say Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It's like, well, why aren't they included in Great Britain
There's Great
collectively?
Britain, and then there's the United Kingdom,
Okay.
and they are representative of slightly different countries.
Oh, okay. Well, so Great Britain and Northern Ireland, they're technically the same. You don't need a passport to go to Northern Ireland, do you?
No.
No. See, that's why that doesn't quite make sense.
What's the difference between Great Britain and United Kingdom? Who knew that we were going to go to geopolitics in our What We're Thankful For today?
While on Andy B's tangent, by the way.
What?
While on Andy B's tangent, just
Your
by the
tangent.
way.
The British Isles are a group of islands in the northwest coast of Europe. Yeah, I suppose. Largest of these are Britain and Ireland. And then we've got other, of course, the Channel Islands, Jersey, Guernsey, and Sark, which are not part of France and not part of England. Then you've got the islands that are, for example, you've got the Isle of Man.
Okay.
You've got the one at the bottom.
Which one at the bottom?
Oh, the name's completely gone out of my head. It's the one that's got the most expensive ferry route in the world. That's the bit I remember. I remember that more than I remember the name of the island it goes to.
Oh. Well, see, I remember that Isle of Wight is actually the...
That's the one.
Oh, Isle of
Thank
Wight.
you.
That's
Yes,
what you think of.
The Isle
Yes,
of Wight.
because you can actually take a hovercraft there. And it's
You
the
can.
last hovercraft in the world to actually be used.
That's a tangent, Peter.
No, it was a fun fact that I added.
Okay. So when does a tangent become a fun fact?
Well, a tangent is normally what you start going on. An extra fact is what I go on. I think Dan Rouse would agree with me, wouldn't you?
He's not here to defend you.
Ah, no.
So you've got all these different islands. Then you've got the Outer Hebrides, you've got the Shetlands, and they're all differently related in some way. Some are far more closely related. Northern Ireland is very much part of us, but then it's not because there's a sea in the middle. You've got Guernsey, Jersey, and Sark, which are part of us, but definitely not, and definitely not part of France. They are autonomous, but sort of English. And then I get a bit lost with the geopolitics.
Wait, so those islands aren't technically English or French?
Well, I've been to Guernsey and I've been to Jersey. I haven't been on Sark, but a couple of things. One, the road names are all in French, which is interesting, and yet you drive on the correct side of the road, the left.
I think that does kind of make sense because in years very long gone by, UK and France didn't really get along. So
I think that's somewhere we just move away from that one.
Yeah, politics.
Yes, right. So if you look at in front of you, you've got a map.
Yeah.
Okay. So Great Britain is this purpley blob.
Mm-hmm.
So Wales, England, and Scotland.
Okay.
Okay. Then there's the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, which includes Northern Ireland. And then you've got the British Isles, which I guess is more geographical than political, which includes the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, the Isle of Man, the Isle of Wight, the Shetland Islands, the Hebrides, all those places.
There's a lot of islands. In fact, I heard once it's believed that those islands used to be mountaintops, and basically the UK wasn't detached from France. Like we'd have been literally right next door.
Yeah, it's cool. I honestly, all this stuff makes me fascinated.
And at the same time, it makes me very confused.
Does it really?
Although, I suppose one way, if those islands are French or English, the way to figure it out is if you go there as a French person, do you need a passport? And if you go there as an English person, do you need a passport?
Well, you don't need a passport for all sorts of places. I didn't need a passport to get to Guernsey and Jersey by plane.
Oh.
I flew to Jersey without a passport.
Okay, so
Can I just say legally? There was no law breaking.
So
We
technically,
just lost YouTube and get YouTube back.
hopefully,
Done.
very easy to repair. We're back.
It's back.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you can fly to Jersey and Guernsey. So not Guernsey so much, but we flew to Jersey, and you don't need a passport. Driving license, you need like a photo ID, but you don't actually have to have a passport per se.
Okay, but if you were to sail there, would you need a passport?
No.
No. Well, in that case, surely. Oh, I'm confused. Maybe we should try and not stray into politics.
Should we go back towards the things we're thankful for?
Your third thank you now.
My third thank you. Are we sure it's that already?
Pretty sure.
Really?
I think. Well, you've taken us on such a long tangent. We're getting a little bit lost again, aren't we?
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure
I
it's
think your microphone's about to experience some technical difficulties.
technical.
It might suddenly go quiet.
That's interesting.
Mm.
But I'm sure we can find a spare microphone if we want.
Nope.
And I can still say that you are the one who goes on tangents.
Nope. Right, third thing I'm thankful for. It's been a really, really busy week. I think the thing is, it's been a very interesting week, and I'm getting to do stuff I wouldn't normally get to do, is how I would word it. Which has been really exciting because it is good fun not knowing what's coming the next day. I mean, I know what's in my diary, but not knowing quite what to experience. So I haven't been to a 20th dinner celebration. We went to the Redeeming Our Community's 20th celebration, but that wasn't a dinner. That was a different kind of affair, which was brilliant fun. This was a dinner celebration, which was great. But yeah, we took a bunch of photos. We just need to make sure before we put them out online, by the way, we got permission to use them.
Oh, that is important.
It is important. There's some photos from our time at Lighthouse Homes in Rotherham. That's fine because we've got permissions through the day. Most of the photos from Wednesday evening Lighthouse Homes 20th celebration dinner we got permission for. However, all the photos of the people at the front, because I was nearest with a photo that was, decent camera, I took a bunch of photos for them. I don't know if we can use those, so we've got to get permission for that. And I do know there's a whole bunch of other photos from the night that we can do, but let's keep things simple. I mean, I know I try to keep things simple, and Peter takes us off on one. However, I will try and keep that one particularly simple, and we'll make sure that before we put any photos out, we've got permissions from the dinner. But the actual visit to Lighthouse Homes in the early afternoon, we'll get those out as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Right. So what am I thankful for? I think it's the general encouragement that despite what we see in the world around us, there's plenty of bad. You haven't got to look far to see difficulties, do you?
No.
And despite all of that, days like yesterday in Leeds with Next Gen, days like Wednesday, either at the dinner in the evening or earlier in the day at Lighthouse Homes in Rotherham. I mean, even Monday, Salford, we were at Go Church for Artistry, something that John and Ems Hancock set up. There's lots of people who want to do good and help other people. And in a world where we sometimes think, is there anybody good left? Because look at what I can see before me. Actually, do you know what? There really are good people out there doing some amazing works. So we were praying for all the people there on Monday in Salford who stood up and said, yeah, I want to work in children's TV. So we prayed over them, which was beautiful. And that was just one industry. There's myself, Nathan Thomas representing radio, Pure247 Radio, John, Matt Brown from UCB. One was there with Sarah Hine, who does a drive time show. She's probably not listening to this one because she's working. They were there. So there's a couple of radio stations, a national one in them and an international one with us. So there were lots of different groups of people representing all sorts of mediums of media. And it was really encouraging just to be there and to spend some time with people, to hear their stories a little bit. And it was really encouraging. So I think my third is a bit of a big one, but it's everything that this week represents of people who want to do good to help others, which makes me very thankful because I look around the world, I see lots of darkness, lots of difficulty, lots of challenges, lots of poverty, and yet there are really good people like the chap from West Yorkshire Police I met yesterday who really wants to help people through his job as a police officer. So there are some really good people around. Hello, Rob, if you're listening. And there are some really good people who are trying to do good in their communities, either through their job or their family or their church or their social club or whatever it is. And it gives me a lot of hope. So that's my third, slightly larger thing that I'm thankful for, because this week has reminded me there's a lot of good in this world and it's worth fighting for.
A little bit of a Lord of the Rings
Mr. Frodo. Right,
Yeah.
we'll have a piece of music. We'll come back in just a moment with new studies. Have you got some?
I have found one, but I'm sure I'll find some more.
Jolly good. We'll have a little bit of not Fleetwood Mac, we've had that one. A little bit of Genesis. We'll be back in about 3.5 minutes. And we'll be back on Facebook and YouTube in a moment as well. And we're coming back now. About 6 seconds. Just been enjoying a little bit of Genesis while Peter and I work out the new studies that we'll be reading out to you and having some fun with, I hope. Have you got some? I spent some time earlier in the week going through all of our news items and trying to get rid of some of the really old stuff and then collating together for you all the new studies.
All the new studies, yeah. I have found one or two, actually. I've actually been wondering a little bit. It's like there's loads of new studies. That does explain my
Check the
slight
dates,
queries.
is all I'll say.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them have similar dates, I see. Oh, yeah. Anyway,
I put them together. I do that sort of thing. I'm helpful.
Yes, very helpful. And I had noticed it was really easy finding new studies recently. So that is something to be thankful for. Helpful Andy B helping us find lots of new studies.
I do try. My wife says I'm very trying.
Are you ready then for a new study that we can not take the mick out of necessarily?
As I'll ever be.
So this one actually that I literally just saw is going to be very good, especially if you're British or if you like a brew or tea. That would be just to be clear, because I think in America brew actually means beer, which is very different from tea.
But you got home brew, which is
Homebrew.
definitely English as well.
I think, well, we can say like brew like a beer, but brew like a tea at the same time, or a coffee at the same. Again,
You see, if I was going for a brew, I would never think about having a beer. Although technically, you home brew, you have brew.
What?
You brew a batch of beer.
I suppose. Would you say technically? I mean, it probably wouldn't be right, but would you say you brewed a wine? Because do you brew it technically?
No, I don't think you
No.
brew wine. You ferment, don't you? Or is that something different?
That sounds about right. Ferment. That sounds.
Or is that yogurt?
Oh,
I don't.
I don't know. It's just a query. It didn't sound right because I never heard
if
anyone
you
say that.
brew beer, what do you do?
Well, I've radioed
to
this.
wine.
And I may have had something to do with that little tangent there. Something to do. I'm just not sure. Would you say that wine is brewed, or is that completely
No,
wrong?
I was correct. Wine is usually made through fermentation.
Ah, yes.
The sugar turns to alcohol.
Oh, okay. That's actually quite interesting because I always kind of wonder how do you do that? Because technically, if you left like grapes long enough, they're just going to go bad and you can't eat them yet.
Well, there's two things. One, it's a very special sort of grape.
Oh.
It's the kind of grape you would never ever want to eat.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Like, if it's a grape you don't like, it's actually going to be quite good in wine, basically.
I wouldn't say quite
Well-
like that. It's more that the grapes that generally would be used in making wine, they're not very nice to eat. Just because when they've been through the process of fermenting and all the rest of it, they change flavour quite a bit. But it's where they've changed flavour from, which is the important part.
Yeah. So, going back to the topic, which is about something that just so happens to be a little bit about tea.
Although making wine is easier than beer, which might be relevant to this conversation, not a tangent. Apparently making wine is easier. It's less complicated than brewing beer and does not include steps like mashing or boiling, which I didn't even know you had to do.
Okay.
Because we're talking about brewing, aren't we?
Well, actually, not quite about brewing.
And I do remember that often in where I used to live, in the West Midlands, when you had a pharmacy, so a place where you get your prescription drugs or whatever, medication, they often were the same place that you go to for your beer or winemaking. Or perhaps this is where I lived, but there are a few pharmacies and they all had a whole section for making beer or wine.
Oh, that's
So you could buy all your
interesting.
tubes and your bottles and all the rest of it.
That's quite interesting, actually.
I am full of stuff.
Well, I've actually heard though that in like America, they don't sell alcohol in like supermarkets. They tend to sell those at pharmacies, basically.
Do they?
Pretty sure I heard that somewhere, but I could be a piece of information that's inaccurate and I got completely messed up. But I'm sure I heard somewhere that, or at least in some states.
Do
don't-
supermarkets sell wine in USA? What did we do before we had in the internet?
I'm not sure. I think you go to a library or you just don't bother to try and.
Some states allow supermarkets to sell wine, others have more restrictions. That makes sense.
So I was sort of on the ball there. There was a hint of some correctness in what I just said.
I've got more. California, apparently, this is on the internet, it's got to be true. You can buy beer and wine at the grocery store, so supermarket. However, in Pennsylvania and Alaska, supermarkets don't sell alcohol.
Okay, so some states then. I thought.
But
so.
in New York and Tennessee, Alabama, you can buy beer, but not wine.
Okay, I don't see what the difference between the two would be. in that sense. But
It's on
okay.
the internet. It has to be true.
The internet never lies.
And I've got a beard and said it on the radio, so it must be something you investigate yourself.
Okay, well, are we ready for the new study now? Now that we've both gone
Of course
off.
we are.
Okay, so this one, it's not all to do with tea and beer. It's actually got nothing to do with the brewing of beer, but we sort of collectively went in that direction. But this is to do, and it's entitled, New Study Finds Daily Treat May Boost Heart Health, which is interesting. So basically...
Daily treat.
A daily treat. So it's saying mainly stuff like a tea. I don't know if that's like every type of tea, because you get mint tea, herbal teas, and then I guess the classic kind of black tea.
Well, there's fake teas, and then there's herbal teas, and then there's real tea.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because if it's not got caffeine in it, is it really a tea? Honestly,
Oh, that's a
if
good
you
point.
decaffeinate something, then you're taking out the original essence. So can you call it tea? That's why you don't call it tea or caffeinated tea. You call it tea or decaffeinated tea. I've never gone somewhere and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, could I please have a cup of caffeinated tea?" You just don't. You say tea.
See, I always say that to be more clear.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, otherwise I just get mixed up.
Are you worried about going off on a tangent? You making sure that you stay on top of it?
Mm.
Come.
Hmm. So, back to the story then. Basically, teas or like dark chocolate apparently is another thing. If you have that as a little bit of a treat, it's actually quite good for your heart's health. So apparently, in these types of things, also like cocoa, tea, apples, and grapes, these are some, there are flavin-3-ols.
What?
Yeah, I know. Thanks to flavin-3-ols. That's what it says, with little hyphens in between. Flavin.
Yeah.
I guess.
What you said.
Yeah. Apparently they're good for your heart. Flavin-3-ols. I'm guessing I'm pronouncing that correctly. Although if you're a doctor, you might be saying no, that's not quite right. But apparently it's a kind of natural compound found in cocoa, tea, apples, and grapes. And it makes sense that dark chocolate would be especially good, because that's basically
A vegetable.
well, kind of. It's much pure
It's one of your
cocoa.
5 a day, I think. I read that somewhere.
I'm not.
It may be on a satirical news site, but I'm pretty sure that chocolate is cocoa. Cocoa is a vegetable. Vegetable is good for you.
Might want to run that past Dr. Richard Scott, but
Nope.
okay.
Don't need to. I know, absolutely.
Well, basically, this is good for the heart, and it's apparently good at lowering blood pressure. It's good at quite a lot of things for your heart, and it also says something about dietary changes could support heart health, which is interesting. So basically, having treats, I think mainly ones with flavin-3-ols.
Although dark chocolate contains caffeine, and caffeine is good for your heart.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because Richard Scott and I, the doctor man, we did have a whole 2 interviews worth of why caffeine is the best substance on earth ever, was my title after we finished. But if you're saying that caffeine is good for your heart, and if dark chocolate has the darker the chocolate, the higher the caffeine content. I mean, it's not the same as coffee, clearly, but it's got more. Therefore, dark chocolate would be better for your heart.
Well, actually, I don't think it's to do with the caffeine this time, because it also apples and grapes.
Then it's wrong and it's stupid.
No, but apples and grapes. This is flavin-3-ols, not caffeine.
Are we onto fruity chocolate now?
Well, no. It's just saying that apples and grapes also have flavin-3-ols.
Okay.
I'm guessing the non-plural would be flavin-3-ol or something.
I don't know.
I'm not really sure. It's some sort of natural compound that is apparently good for the heart. And so basically, having a tea, having a strip of dark chocolate or an apple or some grapes, kind of like a treat, is actually quite good for the heart. At first, when I saw the title, though, I thought
Yeah, but
psychologically.
Isn't that just caffeine?
Well, I
Because
don't-
tea has caffeine, chocolate has caffeine, coffee has caffeine, and caffeine is good for you.
But
Are we sure that it's not the caffeine that's the good bit?
No, because apples and grapes, which I don't think are caffeinated.
Maybe we should make them caffeinated. Because then, how many people would have an apple first thing in the morning? But no more than 2 a day is bad for you. Not
Yeah.
good.
Dr. Richard Scott informed us of that, which was interesting.
I was quite shocked, but yes, if you're having
me
more
too.
than 2 apples a day, you're lifting the acidity in your stomach too high,
That is
possibly.
very important to note that. But
At
yeah,
least an apple a day, not more than 2 would be good.
only 2 apples a day won't keep
Max.
the doctor away.
No, 3 apples a day, you might be seeing your GP soon.
The 3 apples a day.
As Richard always says, moderation. An apple is brilliant. It's wonderful. It's got all sorts of health benefits. Too much of a good thing, it becomes a bad thing.
That is very true. So that is a new study for you. Would you like any more stories?
I would like another one, if you've got one.
Okay, so we've got quite a few new studies, but this one stuck out to me because I'm not so convinced by it. Okay.
Okay.
So this one, it's this company somewhere in China using this AI technology to basically do a Doctor. Was it Doctor No or Doctor Who? No,
I don't know. Doctor No is from James Bond. Doctor Who is a BBC series.
The Doctor Who could talk to animals. Which one's that?
Doctor Dolittle.
Doctor Dolittle, thank you.
Not a Doctor Who, not a Doctor No, it's a Doctor Dolittle.
I knew that Doctor Who was wrong, but I just couldn't think of any other Doctor name.
Say it with confidence. I keep saying this. No one will question you.
So Doctor Who, we talk to animals, not so much. Basically, they're going to do a Doctor Dolittle. Where basically, currently it's just a theoretical AI technology. They're testing the concept and the ideas. But apparently, the AI technology could interpret what animals are saying and basically translate that into whatever it is that they're meaning. And I think I sort of understand what they mean, because like sometimes birds will have a danger kind of call, at like little birds to say have a warning call.
I think there might be something in this. When we used to have dogs, the little one, if it was frightened, not hurt, just frightened by a noise or door slamming, it had a particular way of sort of whimpering. But if it was hurt, I don't know if it fell over or the other dog squished it or something, it had a particular squeal. But that squeal was different to if we accidentally tread on its tail. So there was a different kind of pain expression if the other dog hurt it, which happened occasionally, or if we accidentally stood on its tail, which happened far too frequently because she used to sit under your feet.
Oh.
So no matter what you tried to do, you tried to look down, she wasn't there, look up and she was there, and you'd tread on her tail. But the sort of the noise that she would make was different for an animal that hurt it, as opposed to one of us.
Okay. Well, actually, a dog can't understand what someone's saying, but if you say...
I would disagree.
Oh, okay. Well, I was thinking that a lot of animals, they will interpret what the owner's saying by their tone of voice.
Possibly, but I used to talk to our bigger dog. I mean, I say bigger dog, bigger of the two. It was a Jack Russell, so it wasn't huge. But she was immensely intelligent, ridiculously clever. And you could talk to the dog and it would go and do stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I used to test the theory by changing my tone. And she'd still do the right stuff that I asked her to do.
Okay,
irrespective of my tone and the words that I used. It was only if I got actually described what I wanted her to do, she'd go and do it.
That's interesting, actually.
Which baffles me, because surely dogs can't understand English. Well, this one seemed to.
Although
the little one was as dumb as a bucket of shrimp. She was lovely, fun, cute dog, but she didn't follow instructions very well.
Okay, but in some ways, though, what would confuse a dog? For instance, if you teach a dog loads of tricks using an English voice, and then a French person says in a French voice, well, French language, to the dog to do something, it will get confused most likely. Which means you could actually teach the dog multiple languages, in a sense, how to do a trick in a different language.
You could.
Which it would actually be kind of an interesting experiment, maybe a new study we could do someday. But yeah.
Paul Gask says, things I'm thankful for today on Thankful Thursday, but on a Friday. I'm thankful for getting back safely from our wonderful holiday in Mallorca. Thank you, Lord. Paul, I'm glad you're back too, because you'll be much needed at the gathering not too far in the future, I'm pretty sure, because I know some of the things you've been asked to do. So yes, you're much needed. I'm glad you had a good holiday, and I'm glad you got home safe and sound. Miss Gasky.
After a well-earned break, no doubt.
A very well-earned break. That man is wonderful.
So, yeah, that is a story about technology that supposedly, possibly, God willing, is going to be able to interpret what animals are saying from the little sounds they're making.
I think there's a possibility. We can record whale song, and we can stick it in the computer and say, well, that's such and such a whale that's singing, and this is a very specific noise, and this is a different noise, and we can kind of already interpret from lots of hearing and repeating that these things they're making noises for mean certain things. I don't think animals are as clever as we are. I just don't. I'm afraid. I think they're not. God made the animals. We were made by hand, the animals by voice. We were a bit made more carefully
Well,
with more deliberateness.
I saw a story actually which sort of proves that basically the brain in a human is said to be the most complex thing in the entire universe that we've known of. And so if the human brain is that complex, probably deliberate. But yet that story is interesting, but I wouldn't expect technology to interpret what the dog's saying, and you'll suddenly hear the dog saying, I chased a squirrel yesterday. You're not going to hear a complex conversation.
I think complicated conversations are not going to happen.
Maybe the most complex thing you'll hear is
Food.
Yeah.
Feed me now. I need to go poo. I don't think it's going to be very complicated.
Probably not. I mean, a cat might be.
Just being honest, I think the translations will not be overly complicated thoughts of soliloquies and carefully put together Shakespearean stuff.
You never know. You might hear the cat out saying, "Should I knock that glass over?"
Yep, already gone. Right,
Probably.
Peter. Would you like to say goodbye to people? We'll have some music and go into the news at 5 o'clock.
Okay, that sounds good. Goodbye. It's been fun. Lots of new studies and lots of things to be thankful for.
One thing really quickly that you're thankful for.
Okay. I'm thankful for lots of interesting new studies.
I'm thankful for them too. Otherwise, there'd be an awful lot of us talking rubbish.
Which I think
I'm
there
not
is.
sure what the difference is between talking rubbish and talking rubbish for new studies. But anyway, when are you back on air?
I will be back on air on Wednesdays, Wednesday 6 till 8 for the Angi Show.
Indeed, I'm not going anywhere, but we have got a couple of songs coming your way. After 5 o'clock, 3 for 3 after 5, I've got that set up. They're not bad songs, are they?
Good.
No, I've got 4 for 4 this time. That's all coming up. The news is coming up. But first of all, a bit of Toby Mac, a little bit of Sarah Reeves. Thank you, Peter. Goodbye. And thank you for tuning in on Facebook and YouTube. We will be saying goodbye to you now. Going to close this down, and we'll be back Friday.
Yes.
For this thing again. On Sunday, if you enjoy this sort of video thing, myself and Jojo will be here on Sunday. So I'm going to say goodbye to you now as well.